Hey, good afternoon, friends. Hope you are doing well, staying safe and healthy. Well, my name is Prasad from Eaton, and would like to welcome you all for 11th SCPC session, which is sponsored by Eaton JCCOE Pune, and obviously in collaboration with the KnoWerX Mumbai. Well, global pandemic situation has taught us many things, right? Need and importance of supply chain resilience and adaptability is a key for success. AI ML is transforming global supply chain at a very rapid pace, right? It is taking a center stage to drive a lot of improvements, right? From demand forecasting, supply planning, fulfillment, multi-channel inventory, and a network optimization. And it's imperative to acquire new skill set, right? Participating and witnessing a digital supply chain journey. Well, I'm happy to mention we have Mr. Umakanth Nair, Director for Eaton GAC COE, and the industry panelists from the different segments to share their thoughts and perspective about emerging trends in the supply chain. I'm really excited to have a next session and wishing you a happy journey. With that, 4 minutes of
Thank you. Thank you there. This is Arvinder. Assuming everybody can hear me all right, if you can, give me a shout out. Welcome to SCPC. This is our 11th edition. I want to do a quick introduction what SCPC is. SCPC stands for Supply Chain Practitioners Council. What is the objective of SCPC? Essentially, there are 4 pillars we are based on. We try and, of course, we try and bring several members from the supply chain fraternity community, and enhance our peer network. So that is goal number 1. That is objective number 1. We try and on this platform share some of the best practices folks out there either have been using with success applications or stories, or we also welcome any problems out there that folks may want to bring to the platform, to the community here of the SCPC, and get into some creative problem solving. While we're doing all this, we also, as part of our objective, we have called out any opportunity there is out there to influence policy decisions. We definitely put a hand out there and we try and engage in those activities as well. How are we structured? The SCPC is purely a voluntary, non-subscription, structure. Essentially, we try and get together at least once in 3 months, and this is one of the gatherings we have. We invite folks that have become members of the SCPC, to which I would absolutely encourage and welcome all folks on this particular call to try and become a member of SCPC. It doesn't cost you anything, but it essentially gets you tuned in to a very smartly growing community we have on the SCPC.
Yes.
Hi, did somebody say something? If not, I'm going to continue. We try and host across various organizations representing different industries. For example, we have Eaton right now. Last time we had Mercedes, Daimler host an event. So we try and rotate this as much as possible. Like I said, no enrollment fee, purely voluntary. There are probably 3 to 4 hours of knowledge sharing sessions we try and do in 60 to 90 days. There's no spend for the hosting organization or participation. We just want them to try and help us put events together and try and spread it around. Essentially, what the role of each key member is, Johnson & Johnson is our sponsor organization. And every event we have a host organization. At this time, we are happy to announce that Eaton is doing the hosting this time. There is a steering committee that kind of steers the direction of SCPC, and we try and be as inclusive as we can. All of you who have not become members, please do become members. And all members are encouraged to send us any recommendations they may have, or any, as I say, often any confessions they may have on which direction we're going and what they'd like us to see more of. To this, we try and share as much as we can also, which is also the role of every member, to come and share, ask, probe, challenge. Yeah. Why would one attend a forum like this? To grow your net, to gain understandings of some of the happenings out there in the industry, to grow your insights on what are the evolving trends. And I think at some point we would like and encourage you to come and share without any confidentiality issues. Come and share some of your organization's achievements with the industry. I'll mention a few that have partnered with us in the past: General Mills, Vodafone, Reliance, Eaton at the moment, Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola. These are some of the organizations that have partnered with us. On the academic side, IIT and SP Jain that are actively involved with, even on the steering committee. Yeah. At this point, I will introduce our keynote speaker. Happy to introduce Mr. Umakanth Nair as a keynote speaker. Umakanth is currently at Eaton, and he serves as Director of Center of Excellence for Global Supply Chain based out of Pune. Prior to this, he had well over a decade at John Deere, where he had several global supply chain and logistics roles. Prior to that, briefly, he was at Cummins. Actually, not briefly, I'm sorry. He was at Cummins for over 6 years. Academically, Mr. Nair has his academic initiation from Symbiosis and Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow. At this point, I would like to have Mr. Umakanth take over the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Arvinder. Appreciate adding us into this. So thanks for this opportunity. Good afternoon, all. My name is Umakanth Nair, and I'm responsible for the Global Supply Chain Center of Excellence from Eaton. And we are responsible for the global supply chain and logistics solutions from India to rest of the world. So it's an integral part of Eaton Global Supply Chain. Eaton is excited to partner with Supply Chain Practitioner Council to bring this latest edition, which is 11th edition, specifically talking about digital supply chain as a topic in supply chain management. This is something which is getting evolved in many of the industries, or rather in many of the industries, it's going very, very well. And now the manufacturing side of it, when you talk about automobile, the industrial sector, everybody is adopting the digital supply chain. Very quickly, to share my perspective as I pick this topic, I'll segment it to three major areas, team. I'll give you a brief introduction about Eaton, which is very much important to understand for all of you what we do, where we serve. And then second, I will pick up the current industry trends and readiness to adopt digitalization in supply chain. And the third and last element would be more of we ourselves at Eaton, how are we looking at the digitalization and specifically on the supply chain side of it. So those would be the three elements what I will pick up. And then I will be also more into the learning mode, as Mr. Ravinder mentioned, because getting more knowledge from your peers industry, that's more what make yourself competent and staying ahead and collaborative. Okay, so starting with brief on Eaton, which is important for all of you know, as I mentioned, we are dedicated to improve people's lives and the environment with power management as a center of our concept. We focus on technology, we focus on more reliable solution and efficient solution, which is more safer to use. That is from the power management side of it. As many of us know, and are also going through multiple challenges through pandemic. At the same time, our solutions are more into every segment. If you pick up flights, plane, factories, data centers, vehicles, any electrical grid, you'll find us. So every day all around the globe, people depend on technology and transformation for energy and infrastructure. And the frontline manufacturer, we support them to make the entire technology transformation or make things happen. And that's where our positioning is, because we never lose sight of what matters, and it's our job to make sure it works. Well, that's a bit about Eaton as a globe. Eaton in India is, we have a very good presence. When we talk about our initial stint, we started with Eaton Hydraulics. It was way back, 99, 2000. That was the time frame, as I remember. After that, when you look at all our business, which is from Eaton Aerospace, Eaton Electrical, Eaton Vehicle Group, we have the presence in India. So within India, our manufacturing facilities are in Ranjangaon, which is in Pune. We have our hydraulic facility, which is currently moving into Danfoss, which is announced. That's in Pune. We have our electrical facility that is in Pondicherry, and then we have our aero facility, which is in Bangalore. We have our corporate office in Pune, and also the Global Supply Chain Center of Excellence and Eaton India Innovation Center, which is supporting all across the globe from innovation and technology enhancement in the engineering field. So you can see the magnitude of the digital possibilities as well as the technology possibilities from this part to the rest of the world. So that's how we are positioned. Now, a little bit about industry, and I'm also part of industry. Each one of you are participating, and these are my perspective. When we look at India as an industry, and we've been talking about possibilities in supply chain for digital transformation for quite a good long time. The major challenges what comes in is more from a return on investment. That used to be our regular talk from the beginning. At the same time, the major challenges what we go through in the overall supply chain is that we have challenges on our current forecasting mechanism. The volatile market is not supporting us to get the parts at the right interval to support the overall business. That is a significant challenge, and with the current challenges like pandemic, it goes even higher. Now, what are the possibilities? Is it more going to be the same way where we used to have only manual intervention? We look at the current possibilities, having those relationship-based organization, or we transform it to more digital world, which is more from a visibility standpoint. Little bit more added to that, as you understand, supply chain is not playing alone in this area. Supply chain is focusing on the part delivery. That is one thing. At the same time, supply chain is also responsible for the cost decision. And when you look at the holistic picture, now it is engineering, supply chain, marketing, and manufacturing coming together. And that's where the digital game always stay ahead. The responsibility for supply chain always lies between the supply to the point of use, where we can bring in more and more visibility, and at the same time helping the entire system to take faster decision. Can I see the forecast fluctuations and how my supplier responds to it? Like, we know that there are challenges at multiple supply bases, but is it more visible for me so that I can change my scheduling or change the planning side of it to make what is possible, faster decision? That's a possibility through digitalization. Are we there? No, we are, as an industry, we are moving in that direction. Understanding my supply strength and mapping the forecast models to meet the capacity. So that is something which is also looked at industry level. And then we could do wonders if machine learning could be coming in at the forefront as well. Additionally, one more insights over there is that if my manufacturing, within my manufacturing, my machines can talk to each other, and then a machine can talk to my supply chain planning side of it, that's going to add a lot of value, flexibility into the system, whether it is part ordering and flexing the models in the right time, so real time. So those are the major elements what we can do. Well, that's a dream. Now it's all a dream, and if you look at some of those other players, which is like more of an Amazon or any retail industries, you will see that it's already there. They're already doing it, and they're also looking at the customer trends, the buying patterns, and they are planning it very well so that we are getting the right visibility and right speed into that. So industry is moving in that direction. Now the next step is, or next input here is that what are we doing at Eaton? What we are thinking from our supply chain perspective? Well, I'll pick it one level up at Eaton level. We are already into the digital transformation journey at Eaton level, and that includes engineering, that includes manufacturing. The entire Eaton functions, they are focusing into the digital journey, which is very much important for any company's future positioning. And in the critical trends in our own supply chain, or within Eaton and within any other industry, in order to stay ahead in the competition, digital supply chain or transformation is really important. And that's only possible when we have the right level of skill set well within our existing workforce, when we are investing in the workforce from a future skill set perspective. It's all at the continuous methodology, rather than investing too much on something which we don't need to do. We can also partner for some of those activities, which is going to position us in a better way. With the recent unprecedented events, it has become even more important, and because your supplier base also has challenges, both from a financial side of it, both from the fluctuation side of it. Now, how can we be more innovative and be resilient? That is a question which comes into supply chain, and supply chain is always questioned in that direction. And that also gives us more confidence. This is the right time to be in supply chain. Why do I say that? Traditionally, our major focus always was to bring the part to the dock, finish, get the part inside, manufacturing builds it. Once the product is completed, we need to deliver. That is more from a logistics side of it. Now it's changing. What's happening today is that we are also getting that opportunity to be at the forefront, supporting the overall revenue of the organization. The decision what we can make through more digitalized tools will improve the overall revenue for the company, or maybe supporting the revenue. When I say that, marketing is always working on the best possibility to run or position the company. The faster collaboration between marketing and the rest of the organization, including supply chain, because supply chain also need to respond faster. That's going to be a bigger opportunity in the coming time, and that is where we are positioning ourselves. Our major focus is developing internal skill set that's more on the machine learning, data analytics, artificial intelligence. We have already started working on projects like end-to-end supply chain visibility, partnering with external vendors, or started partnering with external vendors for proof of concept, connecting on the high-end visibility side of it. These are the major elements what we are currently working to position our supply chain for the future. We are pretty glad our current focus is really helping us from a digital investment side of it. Many of the focuses in the procurement and engineering organization, or the planning organization, is really giving us the right edge towards that. So overall, if you look at or ask me the question that are we being future ready within our Eaton terminology, yes, I would say yes, we are getting future ready. We are already there, and we are investing on our people to make supply chain the better one through digital transformation. That's pretty all from my side. Nishtush, back to you for any questions.
Right. Thank you so much for your insights, Mr. Umakant. So I would just ask the audience if they have any questions for Mr. Umakant. Please feel free to put it in the chat box, and we can take it for him. So I'll give you probably a minute to everyone to, just if you have questions, please put it in the chat box.
We can take it towards the end as well. I'm available just for your information.
All right, so we have received 3 to 4 questions. So I'll just start with the first one. Great insight, first of all. Addition to the visibility part any plans in terms of using RPA in planning and procurement with analytical abilities?
Yes. So from an RPA standpoint, yes, we have focused investment on the robotic process automation within supply chain as an entity. So there are a lot of focus basically on the material planning side. That is one area where we look at, and also the procurement side. If you ask analytics added to RPM, not yet. What we are currently looking at is that our existing processes, making it more robust, because if you give something which is not planned with the right processes, then your RPA is not going to work in the right way. So what we are currently doing is that look at what are the opportunities to improve our overall efficiency, repetitive activities where we do not have we do not have time to invest in. The processes are set very solid. So we are working with our global team to introduce more and more RPA. So I can't share the numbers, but we have RPAs already introduced into many of our processes already. And every year we have the target to look into the process and move into the right direction. One additional point which I want to share, we don't generally, our thought process is as a company that we don't directly jump onto the tool. We try to understand the problem, and the problem is shared with either our IT team as well as our partnering team. They'll be able to give us the right solution.
Perfect. So, a very nice question. You said it's the right time to be in SC, basically supply chain. Why is that?
Okay, and this is my thought process. Like being into the industry for 24 years, there was a time when all of us would like to be in other fields, and my other colleagues in engineering or manufacturing will not be happy. But people wanted to be in engineering and manufacturing, which is always good, because that knowledge is always important. That knowledge is always important to get an understanding about the product as well as the process. Now, what is the design and how do you manufacture it? These are two major elements which used to be always at the forefront. Now, the link between this is something which is really important now, because how fast you can deliver, how fast. Earlier, it used to be, okay, it was more of the supply, the part from the supplier is moved or picked up, we lose the connection. We do not have a connection from that point to the delivery point. And that's the place where you have most of the NVAs or most of the cost which is involved, challenges, all those pieces. There are opportunities. And when we look at that end-to-end supply chain from that place to the point of use, this is where we can start utilizing our intellect. And that's where I believe that we have more and more opportunity to focus more lean, focus more digital, and that's where the opportunity is. That's where the opportunity is, supply chain. I hope I was able to articulate it.
Great. I think, yeah, that surely puts up more interest in the supply chain field with a lot of people now.
Yeah.
Right. So another very debatable question, even before deciding the topic, this was kind of a debate within the SCPC community also. So there's a question is there any difference between digitalization and digitization of SCM?
Now, that's a good question. I do not have an answer for that. What I understand, I want to keep digitalization also always very simple. Like we sometimes complicate things. Yes, I also understand the difference between the digitalization and digitization. But when you look at this entire theme, it's again going back to those old manufacturing, or overcoming the old manufacturing styles. If you go back 10 years, we used to focus, or we are focusing, and we used to focus on lean manufacturing principles. We used to have a lot of value stream mappings on the floor to understand what are the inefficiencies involved in there. there was always a possibility outside the wall, which we never used to do. I'm more talking from a supply chain side of it. So keeping it more simple, if you do a value stream mapping outside, which can be automated or which can be advanced through some technology enhancement, that's going to be the digitalization journey for supply chain. And I'm just terming it from a transformation side of it rather than digitalization or digitization. The experts can share more insights about it. For me, what it is coming out of your current inefficiencies and moving into more efficient way of working with technology in the middle. That's it.
Great, great. Thank you so much. So we'll go to the next question. Do you have any example of AI being used in supply chain and is successfully proved to be value adding?
We have just started, so I do not have a greater example there. So recently some hiring also happened well within our organization. AI being an area, it's more of artificial intelligence when you talk about where we have our set human intelligence which is working very well, and then a programmed methodology is helping us to improve our overall efficiency and speed. That's what it is. But at the same time, it's evolving for us. I cannot share beyond that.
Perfect. Our ROI factors has to be revisited for digitalization of supply chain?
If you ask the decision maker, no, because without return on investment, it is not possible. But the other way of looking at is that when you're putting up a business case, you need to think very differently. What kind of inefficiencies, non-productive actions you are removing from your own system? Like I was mentioning about chasing the parts, being behind the parts. You have a solid relationship with your suppliers, then you get more advantage, or maybe you will be following up with them, your logistics partners, then you get the parts on time. Vis-a-vis, you're controlling your entire process through more automation and digitalization, which is freeing up more and more right level of manpower who can focus on the next level activities. Correct? So that's the way you should be presenting. So return on investment is more a collaborative way. Yeah, how it is adding value to the bottom line, that is important. But at the same time, there are multiple other areas, and we need to look a bit beyond next 2 years, 3 years. How do you see our organization, both from our planning side of it, which is more of manpower, but at the same time, what kind of skill set what we are looking at, so that we can transform it effectively.
So actually a follow-up question to that. So another person has asked, which skill sets do you prefer? Kind of, what kind of certifications or degree or combination of both? What exactly is the preference?
So first and foremost, supply chain skills are foundational, and that is a must. Like if you have that interest to be in supply chain, this is my personal belief again, that you need to understand supply chain in a better way from a foundational side of it. So that investment is really required. People who are having knowledge from a manufacturing supply chain side of it, or maybe the strategic sourcing side of it, that needs to be continuously upgraded. Now the other side is more of the intelligence side of it, how fast you can take decision with other tools, technologies. And in that area, there are a couple of opportunities. One, you can develop more skill set on your own data analytics, and I can give a few examples. Now, looking at various type of analytics by their maturity, most organizations today are just starting to move from descriptive to diagnostic analytics. Some would be doing more of a predictive analytics, which is more of, hey, can I predict what is my the future volume, what kind of models I need to build in. And the last one is more prescriptive. It's too far for us. From that angle, analytics is something which we are developing internally, and we have developed, I would say not developing, it is there in many of the entities within India and outside. That is our focus. And our IT team is also supporting us tremendously on that. Our IT team is very strong in that area. At the same time, the other pieces, what we are going to talk today, machine learning and artificial intelligence, is something which we will be evolving as we go through this journey.
Perfect. The next question is, there are various vendors offering digitalization solutions. What has to be the key parameters while deciding upon a vendor? Of course, considering the compatibility of ERP alignments, which vendors are Eaton considering primarily for SCM planning?
So which vendors we are considering? No supply chain professional will answer that directly. So I'll not be able to answer that. But I can tell you, well, within any corporate, what happens is that we evaluate it centrally at central corporate level, any company centrally, if we are moving in the digital transformation side of it. And as the individual asked, a very good question, whoever has asked that, it's more of that thread what we are talking about, that middle layer, because we will have multiple systems, multiple ERP systems which is available. Investing in a complete new ERP systems, many companies are moving away from that direction. So the middle layer, what we all are looking at, that is the place where we are also looking at more possibilities. But again, this is more of a corporate level discussions which happens, and the decision are always taken in that direction with the right partners.
Great. Right, so we'll go to the next question. How do you change the culture of receiving the data versus insights? That is changing analytics appetite within Eaton.
Well, that's a very good question, not only for Eaton, for any company. And this is our legacy systems and the processes what we evolve every day. Every entity might have different type of processes over and above your current ERP. And that's where the different type of representation comes in. But from Eaton specifically, Eaton Global Supply Chain Center of Excellence, our focus is always to have standardized approach. Our teams, and I'm really proud to share this, our teams, which is more functioned into materials, procurement, engineering, logistics, business intelligence, as well as in quality. Their major focus is to understand what are the possibilities in terms of standardization. So they are not an extended team. They are the team. They are the team, and they work closely with the global supply chain to let them know what are the opportunities from a right process and data collection side of it. Well, do we have opportunity? Yes, we also have opportunities. We are continuously focusing on that. Do we have manual intervention? Yes, we have manual interventions. Our focus is to develop our team members in a best way to position this digital transformation and getting the data in the right central lake, and then utilizing not only for supply chain, because the lake which you will be having can also equally used by marketing, or for that matter engineering and other function as well. So that's the effort.
Great. So I have a very good question on the people side. Just a second, I'll just take up that question. Okay, this is by Mr. Nikhil actually. When we speak about digitalization and process improvements, there is an important enabler, people. How do you get people adopt and adapt to new technology, only by which you achieve the vision of digital transformation?
There is no other way. We can note it down, bold, underline, and keep it at our desk. Our people are our assets, and that's the only way for digital transformation. You can bring in any kind of technology, technical tools. It's the people in our company who is going to do the transformation. And Our company knows this very well, and our company respect this very well. We are very much ahead in terms of people connect on the people side. I will continue to do on that. And when we talk about the digitalization, as I mentioned, there are two major pieces. One, our existing workforce getting the right skill set. Foundational, they are really strong. They're also investing by themselves. Many of them are investing by themselves. Many of them are getting invested through Eaton as a company on the digital upskilling. Now, when we do that for our internal organization, we also look at the new hiring, the people who are coming from outside with some differentiated skill set. And this is a mix which will help us to position better again in the digitalization journey. And that's the focus what we always have in people development. And it cannot be 1 day, 2 day. It has to be a planned one, an internalized one. And Eaton believes in that. Eaton believes in people, and that's a real pride for me in being in this company. And I'm sure that all my team members who have joined or who are there, who are working very hard, they will always support this and know this.
Perfect. Yes, as always said, people are the backbone, and it's always required for them to be, a part of the change. Great. So we'll take last two questions actually. So this question is blockchain a part of digital transformation, or it can be implemented by any company on certain SCM blocks?
First thing, I'm not an expert in blockchain. So what I will share is more of at a top level. I've shared it in one other forum as well. Is there a possibility? Yes, there are possibilities. It's more of how can we have more continuous process, which is more from a ledger side of it. Is there a possibility to have more continuity and visibility for some of the process transparency? But there are possible challenges as well when we talk about blockchain. So that's more of a possibility. I won't deny there is no possibility, but again, as I mentioned in the earlier time, our job is to find out what is the challenge, what kind of business problem statement is there, what tools need to be utilized is something which comes next. If you decide the tool first and then try to find out, then push the solution to the tool, generally doesn't work. And there might be some cases, yes, where it is already proven. I agree, but it's always good to go with a deep dive on the business case or problem statement, then work with the expert.
Great. So I'll take the last question for this particular session from you, Mr. Umakant. What would be the steps for digitization of supply chain? All right, before you answer this, for the audience, if you have more questions, I've already shared the LinkedIn profile link for Mr. Umakant. You can always connect with him and you can take the questions with him personally. Over to you, Umakant, sir.
Yes, so first, you need to accept the fact that this is the need. This is not the need of this hour. It's already gone. If we think about it, 3 years back, we never used to imagine that we are going to do all my payments through Google Pay or any other online transaction. We used to have it very minimal, 3-4 years, I would say, 3 years maximum. Now with demonetization or with the pandemic coming in, I don't know how many times I go to ATM and collect cash. I do, but it is very less. Now the time today in any kind of organization is to think ahead. That's the first thing, think ahead and invest on digital skills. And we have started on that, and we will continue to build on that. Second is developing digital mindset well within people. Investment is really good. If the people doesn't connect to the strategy, if they are not able to understand what is how it is going to transform the overall business as well as their journey, their own career, then there will be a challenge. So those are the two pieces what I can share with you.
Great. So thank you so much, Umakant sir, for wonderful insights and a great session. We will talk to you more at the end of the session. For now, we'll go to the next segment, which is the panel discussion. Okay. And before we move to that, we have a short quiz for the audience. So I'm going to share the screen with you. And one by one, we're going to take questions. Please feel free to post your answers in the chat box. Whoever answers first gets a training discount coupon from KnoWerX Education. So I will share the details how to get those coupons for. But before that, let's have the quiz. So just give me a minute while I just share my screen and get that ready. All right. So for everyone, is my screen visible? Just just a heads up would be fine. All right, great. Thank you. So let's move to the first question. Which one is the widely used ML machine learning algorithm? Random ocean, random mountain, random forest, random cloud. Please feel free to post your answers in the chat box. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So we've received a lot of answers. So the correct answer is random forest. So I think Mr. Kumar S is the one who has answered the first. So you're eligible for the prize for this question. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Which is the widely used languages for building AI ML algorithms? Python, Java, R, all of the above. All right. All right. Great. All right, we have received a lot of answers for that. So let me just go on to the right answer for this is all of the above. I think Mr. Nikhil is the one who has given the answer first. So Mr. Nikhil, you would be eligible for the prize, I believe. All right, so a final question for this particular session. Which one is not a type of machine learning? Unsupervised, ultra learn, reinforcement, supervised. Okay. Okay, a lot of right answers there. You know, the audience is pretty known of this topic. That's really nice to know. So the correct answer for this is B, ultra learn. And the first one to give this answer was Mr. Tripathi A. So request all the winners to please connect with me. I'll just share the details how to connect and claim your prize. So thank you everyone for playing this quiz. I